reassessing the value of homes in this market. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me this hour is Mayor Eldridge Hawkins of the City of Orange Township. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me again.
Let's talk a little bit about the revaluation process and
Right.
how it works in a community. It hadn't been done for decades in Orange, and it was done about 6 years ago. Why was there a need to do that?
Right. Well, the City of Orange Township, prior to me taking office, as you said, had not had a reval in many years. And because of that, the state mandated that the past administration have a revaluation of their taxes. So approximately 6 years ago, that was done at the peak of the housing market when home values were at their highest.
So this hadn't been done in 40 or so years.
That's
6
correct.
years ago it was done. What were the results?
Well, the results were staggering. It's very unfortunate because what happened was the tax burden shifted from the commercial property owners to the residential property owners. In fact, one of our commercial property owners' taxes decreased $30,000, as where many of our residential homeowners' taxes doubled. And it's not fair, especially given consideration to the fact that right now property values are at their lowest, yet people are still paying taxes based on their reassessed values of 6 years ago.
So have you had tax appeals, people coming and saying, I shouldn't be paying this much in taxes because my home's not actually worth the assessed value right now?
Absolutely. You know, our tax department's been inundated with tax appeals, and many of them have been successful. And recognizing that as the mayor of the city, that this is not just an individual homeowner's problem, but a city-wide problem. I think it's incumbent upon the administration to do whatever we can to provide tax relief to the residents. Just like with the first time, some people's taxes went up, down, and some stayed the same. However, because it was the peak of the market, the overwhelming majority increased. If we do it again now, while values are at their lowest, while you'll have a mixed result, our belief is that the overwhelming majority will experience some relief.
So not necessarily increasing the tax base, but actually reassessing and redistributing where the money comes from?
That's correct. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because the common misconception is that if my taxes double, then the city is operating on twice as much money, when that's not the case. What we're really talking about is redistributing the tax base so that everybody's paying their fair share. If your taxes go down, $2,000 or $500, that's getting picked up someplace else in the city, possibly on the commercial homeowner or commercial property owner.
Now, you mentioned that 6 years ago it was state mandated that the city do a revaluation. How can you redo a revaluation? Does it, again, need state approval?
Right. Well, there is certainly a process. This is not something that the city can unilaterally do. It takes cooperation on multiple levels of government. We have had to work through our tax assessor and collector with the county to get these things approved. We've had to show that there is, in fact, a disparity in the home values and the assessed values to prove that we have a need to do this reassessment. And we've been successful to that end. We've gotten all the approvals that we need, and right now we're at the stage of trying to really push this through the city council. Because again, while everybody thinks the mayor has ultimate power, unfortunately I don't, and we have to work with the council to get the contracts issued to authorize the emergency expenditure of funds from our surplus revenues to facilitate the payment of the contractor that will have to do the reassessment.
So any indication as to the costs associated with another reval?
Yes, the reval should cost approximately $10 per taxpayer over the next 5 years.
And what does that add up to in terms of residents?
Well, that's about $250,000 overall, broken up over the next 5 years per taxpayer. So I think that, for $10 per taxpayer over the next 5 years to possibly experience significant relief when we're suffering in one of the worst economies since the Great Depression. We have people getting laid off, there's homes in foreclosure. I think that if there's any chance that we can do something that can provide them relief, we need to do that so that residents have more money left in their pockets to take care of their day-to-day expenses.
A few seconds left, but is the danger then in shifting this burden back to business owners that they may go out of business?
Anything is possible, but I don't think it's a matter of danger, it's a matter of what's fair. And I think that that's at the core of this issue, is that people pay their fair share of their taxes and not more.
All right, thank you very much. We've been talking with Mayor Eldridge Hawkins. I'm Jill Horner.